Welcome back to BaiBrick City. In the last episode, we built a new road system for our city. The idea was pretty simple. We extended the new road plates by 4 studs on both sides. But there was one problem. The new road plates sit slightly higher than the modular buildings. And also, because of the height difference, it is hard to integrate the tram tracks into the road. So, in the end, I decided to switch BaiBrick City entirely to Muse plates. Wait, what exactly is a Muse plate? Well, in simple terms, it's just a LEGO base plate with a layer of bricks underneath. This creates a standardized building system that makes it much easier to build roads and terrain. The only downside is that I have to move all my LEGO modular buildings onto Muse plates, and it's going to be a pretty massive project. However, thinking about the future development of BaiBrick City, our mayor decided it's time to make a serious investment. First, I built a standard Muse plate. I used 4 16x16 plates for the top. Then, I used 2x2x3 bricks to support the structure. To reuse some old parts, I used some old LEGO road plates as a base. Then, we can simply snap the entire structure onto the base plate. And just like that, our first Muse plate is complete. Next, it's time to move the modular building onto the Muse plate. First, I rebuilt the sidewalk using light gray tiles, instead of the original dark gray ones. Moving everything over is still a huge amount of work. I have to remove every tile one by one before rebuilding them onto the new Muse plate.
A few moments later.
We finally finished the base. Now I simply attach the rest of the building onto the Muse plate. And there we go! The detective's office has officially been converted to Muse. As you can see, the new Muse plate is much more stronger and more rigid than the original modular base plate. I also changed the sidewalk from dark gray to light gray. The light gray tiles looks much cleaner, and they create a clear contrast with the dark gray road. Now it's time to move on to our main project, building the Tram Boulevard. Since my Muse plates are all 3 bricks high, I first built the foundation. Right now I'm working on the drainage system under the sidewalk. Then I complete the entire sidewalk with tiles. Next, I build the edges of the road. For the road markings, I use the snot technique. Finally, it's time to build the road plates and the tram tracks. Here, I reuse all the dark gray tiles I removed from the modular building sidewalk. No LEGO part goes to waste. And just like that, our first Muse road plate is finished. Honestly, I think it turned out really well. As you can see, the sidewalk now sits 2 plates above the road. That extra height gives us plenty of room to add more details like drainage channels. Now that the first section is finished, let's build the rest of the road.
A few moments later.
After a lot more building, the entire road system is finally complete, but it still feels like something is missing. I still have a lot of things to add after building the road sets in the last episode. There are things like street lights, speed limit signs, traffic lights, and pedestrian crossing signs. So now, let's add them all. And finally, let's bring the streets to life with some minifigures. The entire road is finally complete. In total, I built 6 Muse road plates. There are still 2 more sections left to build. I will finish building those later. You can also see that all of the modular buildings on this side of the city has now been raised. In total, I raised 6 buildings during this upgrade. Another big change is that all the sidewalks are now light gray instead of the original dark gray. I think the whole street looks much cleaner now. I also left many studs on the sidewalks, so I can place minifigures almost everywhere. That makes the whole boulevard feel much more lively. We also have a new intersection here. This road hasn't been built yet, but eventually it will continue straight ahead. For the corners, I use a snot technique to create those smooth curves. The entire boulevard is built on standard 32x32 base plate. but I designed it as a 3-lane road. 1 lane is for the tram, and the sidewalk is 2 studs wide. If I place 2 rows of this 32 by 32 road plates side by side, they create a huge 6-lane tram boulevard. That's 3 lanes in each direction, with 2 lanes dedicated to trams. Unfortunately, I don't have enough space for that right now. But if I expand BaiBrick City in the future, I can always turn this into a full 6-lane tram boulevard, and I think that would look absolutely amazing. Now let me explain why I rebuilt BaiBrick City on Muse plates. One advantage is that the sidewalks finally sit higher than the road. It looks much more realistic. Also, at the same time, the entire city has been raised by 3 bricks. That will be incredibly useful in the future. For example, when I build a beach, I can easily create slopes or retaining walls to give the city a realistic elevation above the shoreline. Before we wrap up, let me show you a few other changes that I've made to BaiBrick City. First, this residential area used to be 2.5 base plates wide. Now I've expanded it into 3 base plates wide. That gives me enough space for 3 houses. The first one is the apple tree house. Then I pick up 2 more houses from LEGO Creator line. I like them so much that I bought 2 of them. Another advantage of this change is that I can finally place the Ferris wheel and the carousel together. Before, I had to move carousel somewhere else. Now they both fit in this 2x3 block, creating a small amusement park. This side of the city hasn't changed very much yet. There are still plenty of empty space. Eventually, this area will become the city's downtown. I also widened the pedestrian street to 16 studs. That should make it much busier once it's fully developed. Going forward, I'll continue raising the rest of the city. I'll also finish the remaining road sections, and of course, it's finally the time to start building the beach. And that's it. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next episode of BaiBrick City. Bye!